My name is Charles II.
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're looking at 20 of the all-time best horrible histories songs.
William, Henry, Stephen, Henry, Richard, John. Hoy! Henry, Edward, Stu, then 3 more Henrys join our song.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Number 20, Born to Rule.
I took the throne of England just 'cause I was Protestant, a German prince whose English thank King George #1.
Nobody was prepared for Horrible Histories to be the monster hit it became when its very first episode was broadcast in 2009, ending with a song that made us realise we were in for some bangers.
Born to rule over you, King George 4, 3, 1 and 2.
The first tune was a boy band parody about the Georgians, with King George's 1 through 4 telling us about their lives and times.
I broke records with my 60-year reign, and I broke the scales with my giant frame.
Thus began the long tradition of Horrible Histories pointing out exactly which of our monarchs were Germans who just ended up with the throne, not to mention explaining the gruesome and unkingly ways many monarchs have died. As well as that, like nearly every Horrible History song, it's a bloody good earworm. They set a very high bar.
People hated us, and we hated them too. Born to rule over you.
Number 19, British Things.
I love to be a British queen. I am Victoria, you see. Now where's my British butler with my British cup of tea?
While nowhere near as catchy as many other songs, we have to give them props for getting this into a children's show on the BBC. No wonder the show won a BAFTA when it was this bold.
British things, my British things. It seems that tea is not. British things, my British things.
Can I sweeten it? A jot?
Queen Victoria and her butler discuss all of her favourite things and just how British they are, except not quite.
You know your British cotton vest.
What's wrong with it? Explain.
The cotton's from America and picked by
Slaves again.
Yes, Horrible Histories went there, putting out a song about how the British Empire was built on violence, conquest and slavery, with the British Army's uniforms made of slave-picked cotton and our tea from India.
Our British Queen is foreign as well.
It's true, I am of foreign descent.
And your husband, Albert?
A German gent.
Well, it is called Horrible Histories, so it wouldn't do to gloss over the many crimes committed under Queen Victoria's name.
All our favourite British things
Seem to come from elsewhere.
Number 18, the Suffragettes song.
A lass called Millie Fawcett found her other cause, started the battle for our right.
We had a boy band homage. What about a girl band homage? In the vein of British music titans like the Spice Girls, we got this number about the Suffragettes and their fights to win votes for women.
How come girls can't vote for rules that we have to obey when we work and pay taxes too?
Who knew that we needed a rap breakdown performed by Emily Davidson, dramatising her death when she jumped in front of the king's horse?
Became a famous martyr, how did men react?
We can't give women votes if they're so stupid they'll do that.
It also goes into surprising detail about how the movement's initial peaceful protests didn't work, so they resorted to drastic action, though the song doesn't mention their notorious bombing campaign.
Suffragettes say we're gonna do this thing. Peaceful protest started in 1903.
Compressing the shockingly dense history of the entire suffrage movement into under 3 minutes is a remarkable achievement.
So all take note now, women can vote, and it's thanks to those who fought in the suffragette league.
Number 17, divorced, beheaded, died.
Divorced, beheaded and died. Divorced, beheaded, survived. I'm Henry VIII, I had 6 sorry wives. Some might say I ruined their lives.
It was only a matter of time until Horrible Histories turned the traditional rhyme to remember Henry VIII's 6 wives into a full song. cramming in even more information about who each wife was and why he was so angry with them, other than Jane Seymour, of course.
Lovely Jane Seymour was 3, the love of a lifetime for me. She gave me a son, little Prince Ed. Then poor old Jane went and dropped dead.
Considering Henry's love of divorce was tied up with the Protestant Reformation and the break with Rome, it's a lot of ground to cover in a song that's even shorter than the last one. Plus, it can't have been easy to get names like Catherine of Aragon into the lyrics of a memorable song.
Catherine Parr, she was last. By then all my best days were past. I lay on my deathbed aged just 55. Lucky Catherine the last stayed alive.
Number 16. Mary I.
King Henry VIII, my father, hoped I'd have some Tudor brothers. Mum had no sons, so rather I got plenty of stepmothers.
You have to give it to Sarah Hadland. It's not easy to do a solid Kate Bush impression, but she pulled it off.
Mary, the first, that's me, Tudor lady and Queen of England.
This song about Bloody Mary is an homage to Bush's classic number 1, Wuthering Heights, complete with high-pitched vocals and bizarre dancing. As the song explains, Mary's grisly rule was the result of reverting England back to Catholicism after it had been Protestant under Henry VIII, which it would then be again under Queen Bess.
Some tried to say Lady Jane Grey should be queen after Ed, but England wanted me, hooray, so poor Jane lost her head.
It also goes into detail about a botched invasion of France after she was persuaded to attack by her husband, the King of Spain, that eroded all of Mary's regal credibility. Again, what a feat to cram so much Tudor politics into one song.
Everything I tried to achieve went down the Swanee. Bit embarrassing, really.
Number 15. The Viking Song.
It was the summer of 793 when we sailed across the great North Sea.
Comets crossed the skies that night. You must have known something wasn't right.
Who doesn't like Vikings? They've become more popular in recent years, so there's no better time to revisit a song that lifts the lid on what the Viking Age was really like.
You're gonna lose your head, my friend.
In an homage to Queen, they immortalise the 793 raid of Lindisfarne in song, and then go on to talk about how Vikings pillaged England's monasteries for centuries. The props were great too, with a drum kit made of logs and guitars made of axes.
We're gonna paint the whole town red with the blood of the dead.
It doesn't go into as much dense detail as some of the show's other ditties, not quite explaining why the Lindisfarne raid was so significant to Scandinavian expansion, but it's sure to get stuck in your head.
We are going home. We are going home.
Number 14. Sweet King Richard III.
I was sure that you'd love me. To that hope I did cling. 'Cause I'm Richard III, and everybody loves a king.
The most well-known of all the British kings who were buried underneath a car park, Richard III's traditionally gotten a bad rap in history, and it may all be Shakespeare's fault.
Never took the crown with illegal power. Never killed my nephews, the princes in the tower.
This song aimed to repair Richard III's damaged reputation, correcting the centuries of slander that accused him of essentially being a serial killer.
Thomas More wrote a history, said I murdered Edward's boys. Shakespeare said their death was an evil ploy. But I say those two are historical vandals. They've ruined my image. I mean, what a scandal!
The song even explains, as quickly as possible, why he was slandered after his death, because the Tudors didn't like him after they defeated him and took the throne, as well as going through each rumour in turn, all more egregious and outrageous than the last.
Never was two-faced, sure you'll agree. I was misunderstood. King Richard III.
Number 13. William Wallace, Scottish rebel.
I am William Wallace, my life was a mystery. Some say born 1272, some say 1263.
Scotland currently remains part of the United Kingdom, but history could have been completely different had William Wallace succeeded in his war against England in the late 13th and early 14th centuries.
William Wallace, Scottish rebel, this is war I cry. Many English fought me, and many English died.
Wallace's violence against England knew no bounds, and he remains celebrated as a hero in Scotland to this day. Thanks to this song, the UK's English population also got to learn about him in a medium far more historically accurate than Braveheart was.
Celebrated Stirlingbridge another Scottish win by decorating my sword with the English general's skin.
The song pays tribute to Wallace without glossing over the fact that much of his life remains unknown, and there are plenty of details that have been lost to time.
Spent 7 years playing hide and seek. Captured central London, tried for treason, what cheek. King had hanged me, then a lovely touch. Pulled my guts out, guess he didn't like me much.
Number 12. Couldn't stand my wife.
I'm George the Fourth, the Regent King, which means I was just standing in, acting king because my dad, George the Third, had gone barking mad.
Banana!
More from the Georgians, and of course the legendary Jim Howick. They went on to do an entire song dedicated to King George IV, Prince Regent, all about his lurid affairs with famous women and how his marriage didn't compare.
Actresses and duchesses, the great loves of my life. I loved more girls than I ate pies, but I couldn't stand my wife.
He couldn't stand his wife.
Making this appropriate for CBBC must have taken a lot of work, but as always, they pulled it off. After covering his marital woes, when he ran up massive debts building fancy palaces and pavilions, we get into George's brief but memorable reign properly.
As true king my reign began, though I was now older than your nan. And as the ruler of our nation, I banned my wife from my coronation.
The unbearable wife in question, Caroline of Brunswick, was actually extremely popular in Britain, with the public refusing to let the king divorce her when a bill was proposed in 1820.
No, all that you remember is I was really fat.
Number 11. Do the Pachacuti.
I'm Pachacuti, the Incan lord, all other tribes dreaded.
The Americas weren't covered nearly as much as the British Isles for obvious reasons, but that doesn't mean there weren't a few songs about Central America's famous civilizations.
I drink from their skull, pull out their teeth hole, turn teeth into charms, make flutes out of their arms.
Pachacuti was the architect of what became the Inca Empire, violently conquering lands and rival tribes. This song, a parody of the classic pop hit The Locomotion, details the cruel and unusual ways Pachacuti would desecrate the bodies of his enemies, including turning them into the musical instruments used as props.
If you were a rival chief, we'd kill you first and then we'd stuff you like a scarecrow, but one for scaring men.
Considering the Incas aren't really taught in British schools at all, it's always nice to see the show bringing in more global history.
Never had so much fun.
Number 10. Rah Rah Cleopatra. This catchy parody of Lady Gaga's Bad Romance chronicles the life of Cleopatra VII, one of ancient Egypt's most recognisable pharaohs.
I am a pharaoh, yet they're all meant to be guys, but I don't care, oh, I just wear, oh, be a disguise.
Given her well-documented beauty and the chaos this caused in the ancient world, this song isn't short on material. She had notable affairs with several powerful Romans, namely Julius Caesar, and then, after Caesar's death, Mark Antony, general to the next Roman emperor, Octavian.
Caesar's child and hoped that he'd be crowned king.
But not only
My
her
bro
life
said
was
no,
dramatic,
I said, oh,
archaeologists
and I
don't even
murdered
know how
him.
she died. Some think she was poisoned by Octavian, others that she allowed herself to be bitten by a deadly snake. Either way, this song makes learning more about her seem like a whole lot of fun.
Ends in death for him and me. Oh, my life was a drama. I was one cookie mama. Whoa, 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 you know. Today I'd be a favorite of the paparazzo.
Number 9. Blackbeard's song. As one of the most infamous pirate lords of all time, it's only fitting that Blackbeard should be immortalised forever in a song you will certainly get stuck in your head.
Left my home in Bristol with a sword and pistol, bid a fond farewell to old Blighty-ho.
Jim Howick's version of Edward Teach tells us about his gruesome rise to pirate fame. Blackbeard's violence knew no bounds, and the Queen Anne's revenge terrorised the oceans for nearly a decade, though the end wasn't pleasant for this thief.
Oh, I love to sail the ocean with my flag that inspired emotion.
With its smiling pile of skull and bones, smashing hearts with a violent stabbing motion.
After getting greedy for more treasure, he murdered the majority of his crew and then fell in battle, his ship boarded by a troop of British soldiers. He was decapitated, and his head and beard were displayed for all to see.
Smoked me dead, then cut off my head and displayed it on my mast for good measure. Oh!
Smoked him dead, chopped off his head, displayed it on the mast for good measure. Oh!
Number 8. RAF Pilots song. Fighter pilots tend to be some of the most romanticised people out there. But hey, these are the heroes who helped to rescue the UK from destruction during the Battle of Britain in World War II.
The pilots fought the German chaps in World War II.
In Hurricanes and Spitfires performed feats of daring do.
Putting these brave men in a Take That inspired boy band number perfectly captures the illustrious way they're remembered today, letting the cast have fun with their roles while also acknowledging their important role the RAF played in defeating Nazi Germany.
Shot down 22 of them, led the air attack, till finally the Luftwaffe hit me back. Oh no, pretty baby.
An infectiously catchy number from start to finish, the RAF Pilots song will have you singing the praises of these war heroes too.
We beat the Fuhrer. Without us frequent flyers, your life would be poorer.
Number 7. Charles Dickens. Britain has no shortage of famous authors, and Charles Dickens is definitely up there.
I lived a happy life till I was 10 years old.
Courtesy of Horrible Histories, he gets a sullen, Smiths-inspired song all to himself, addressing his early life of privilege until everything was lost to his father's debts. His father in prison, Dickens ended up working in a factory from a young age and only briefly attended school.
Faking in Oliver Twist, a factory pal, you get the gist. And although my memory's quite foggy, got Scrooge from the grave of Ebenezer Scrooge.
The song goes through Dickens' habit of taking inspiration from the world around him as an early example of literary realism. He was one of the first writers to actually portray the lives of England's poor working classes. We're not sure how he would have liked the song, but we love it.
Died before I wrote Drood's End, sort of thing drove me round the bend. So Dickens, take a bow. And heaven knows I'm miserable now.
Number 6. Dick Turpin, Highwayman. England's most famous historical thief and occasional murderer, Dick Turpin, has been heavily romanticised since his death in 1705.
Rampage through the Essex farms, we stole and robbed and fought. But when the law came for us, I escaped and they got caught.
He and his horse, Black Bess, became popular subjects in ballads and poems, but these were all highly embellished. Of course, as explored in this song, Turpin's real horse wasn't called Black Bess, and he didn't really do anything remotely worth celebrating, robbing the people of the English countryside at gunpoint for much of his life.
Rob travellers at gunpoint, money watches, anything. My horse, it wasn't called Black Bess, although that's what you've read.
While we appreciate the song's efforts to reveal the truth of Dick Turpin, we're also glad that they let him retain much of his flashy criminal image.
It's no fun hanging with highwaymen when you're hanging from a rope.
Number 5. Charles Darwin, Natural Selection.
People thought all animals arrived here unrelated. The world began and then came man, all perfectly created.
One British icon borrowing from another, Darwin's Horrible Histories song fittingly parodies Bowie's Changes, while exploring the writing process behind On the Origin of Species, in which Darwin famously postulated his theories of evolution and natural selection. Led to his conclusions during his voyages on the HMS Beagle, Darwin remains a controversial figure in some parts of the world, but the impact of his theories cannot be denied.
On the Isles of Galapagos, I noted the giant tortoise had interesting shells, and I rode on them as well.
While at the time he was mocked and drawn in monkeyish caricatures, and in 1925 an American teacher was put on trial for attempting to teach students Darwin's theories, he's undeniably remembered nowadays as one of the most important figures in the history of biology.
Natural selection.
Number 4. We're History.
Stone Age brought you speech, farms, the wheel and fire.
A poignant farewell to the beloved series, this ballad goes through all of history chronologically, from cavemen and the ancient world through to the world wars.
Our crusades meant slaughter wherever we'd go.
We're history.
Was it pretty? No.
Showing flashbacks to some of the show's most memorable sketches, featuring the entire cast in dozens of different roles, this impressive number is the goodbye the series deserved, as well as the one we desperately needed as fans.
Still the world did pick up, despite some violent hiccups.
2 world wars, millions died. We're history.
If you had a favourite moment from the show, it was almost definitely shown in this 4-minute segment, while commemorating Horrible History's own status as one of the great British comedies.
We're history, and we made it horrid.
Number 3. The Luddites. The likes of the Sex Pistols and The Clash got their own turn at being parody, this time in a song about Luddites, who went around dismantling and destroying the new machines of the Industrial Revolution.
Machines meant the workforce shrunk. You think you'd see us settle?
Skilled weavers who became redundant thanks to Victorian innovation, they thought that using machines to make clothes was fraudulent and deceitful.
We formed a new Luddite army, started to riot. It all went balmy.
It's one of the songs which resonates most of all today, as people still worry about the impact of automated technology in society. Rather than weigh in on the touchy subject, we're going to crank the volume and allow this song to do the talking.
Luddite, 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 Luddite. Won't rest till machines are all gone.
Number 2. Charles II, King of Bling.
I love the people and the people love me so much that they restored the English monarchy.
Mathew Baynton's had his fair share of iconic roles in the show, but Charles II definitely takes the cake.
Hail the King of Bling. Let's sing, bells ring, ding ding.
I'm the king who brought back partying.
In this catchy rap number, we learn about how the British Isles became a virtual dictatorship under the rule of Oliver Cromwell and the Puritans, who went as far as to make Christmas illegal. While Charles II's armies were defeated in the Civil War, the monarchy was restored after Cromwell's death, and the party prince returned from exile in Europe to take the throne.
Great London fire was a whopper. In my reign, London city came a cropper. So this king did what was right and proper. Thought the fire proved I'm more than a bopper. I'm a fire stopper.
This song became so popular that CBBC released it as a ringtone kids could download for free, and it's without doubt definitely the most likely to get stuck in your head.
I was the king, loved by everyone, my song is done.
Number 1. The Monarchs song.
I'm William the Conqueror, my enemy stood no chance. They call me the first English king, although I come from France.
the hardest one to learn all the words to. The Monarchs song is long, fast and fun, all the while teaching us about the reigns of every British monarch from William I in 1066 to Elizabeth II at the time, though it's since been updated to add Charles III.
8 with the 6 came next, but he died young, and so my dreaded daughter Mary ruled so scary, then along came
Me, I'm Liz the First, I had no kids, so Tudors R.I.P.
History is told through the mouths of the most famous leaders, like Henry VIII, Queen Victoria, George IV, and, again, Charles II. It deserves the top spot because of the sheer ambition of not just naming all the monarchs, but also telling us important facts and stories about many of them.
King George IV, and known henceforth as angry, fat and cross.
Hang on.
It's true you beat Napoleon, but were mostly a dead loss.
Bang on.
It's a perfect overview of British history, from the start of proper records to the present day, and a whole lot of fun too.
That's all the English kings and queens since William I that there have been.
Let us know which Horrible Histories song you still know all the words to in the comments.
Your British things are from abroad and most are frankly stolen.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.